I am so not a woman for the kitchen. I'm gonna stay and hang with the boys.
Oh, no, you gonna come and bring your ass in the kitchen. Yeah, get your ass in here.
Now, y'all have been requesting this review for a hot minute, so you know I had to do it. This Tyler Perry film came out in 2007, and honestly, it's one of his best. In this movie, we follow four messy couples as they take their annual couples retreat in hopes of fellowship, reconnecting, and working through any relationship issues. And child, it got messy. With that being said, after watching this movie, I have a lot of thoughts. But before we get to those, it's time to recap. So let's get into it. The movie starts off with us meeting the couples one by one. The first couple we meet are Terry and Diane. Diane is a top litigator at her firm, and Terry is a pediatrician. We quickly get a glimpse into one of the conflicts in their marriage. Miss Diane is always working, and Terry just wants to spend time with his wife.
You got these emails coming in, you got the phone ringing all the time. I can't get any time with you. You're doing these drive-by meetings with our daughter.
Terry thinks that Diane's priorities are in the wrong place, and she's not trying to hear that shit, as she rechecks her BlackBerry for the millionth time. I miss Blackberries. You just had to be there. It was a moment. Then we meet our next couple, Sheila and Mike, and their third wheel / Sheila's so-called best friend, Trina. As they are loading their flight, Sheila gets embarrassed by this attendant when she's told that someone of her size has to buy 2 seats in front of everyone. And her husband, instead of taking up for her, insists that since she refuses to lose weight like he told her to, that this is what she deserves. And he continues to humiliate her.
You know, what are we gonna do? Take the bus. Oh, drive. That's it, drive. Yeah, then you get some alone time. You can talk to the Lord and sing and whatever you do.
Child, if Trina was a true friend, she would have gotten off that plane with her instead of showing this fake concern.
Sheila, you gonna be okay?
Girl, bye. Of course she's not okay. And then we meet Angela and Marcus, the messy couple of the bunch. Angela is the owner of her own hair care line and salon, and Marcus is a former pro baller. They are already off to their usual antics.
Y'all ain't never seen black people on a train? You ain't never heard of the Underground Railroad?
It's like we got a ghetto Harriet Tubman. Ooh, let my people go. You heard me? Snap.
Angela's getting in Marcus's ass about his baby mama and how he needs to handle her. And these guys kept interjecting, leaving Angela to do what she does best.
Fifi is trying to nap.
I don't give a damn about Fifi.
And then we meet Patricia and Gavin. Patricia was an award-winning author and Gavin was an architect. Terry and Diane are the first to make it to the cabin and are greeted by Sheriff Jackson, aka Troy, who gives them a heads up about the snowstorm that's coming in later. Meanwhile, Sheila is on the road from Atlanta, I think, headed to Colorado. All the way to Colorado. Mike would have had me fucked up. But back at the cabin, Diane has already passed out. With her dealing with a stressful job and a nagging husband, the poor lady needed that nap. But as she's napping, her assistant, Monica, calls, and Terry tells her not to call while they're on vacation. Now, why did he think he had the authority to tell her assistant to not reach out to her boss about her job? Dude was out of bounds for that one. Shortly after, Gavin and Patricia make it to the cabin. Patricia goes up to greet and wake up Diane as Gavin and Terry catch up. As Terry brings up how well they are doing in life, the topic of kids comes up, which is obviously a sore spot for Gavin. We'll learn why later. But upstairs, Patricia has successfully woken up Diane, and Diane tells her that she's been extra busy working on a case where she's defending a 16-year-old accused of capital murder. So we can assume that this case requires a lot out of her. And then Angela and Marcus arrive. Child, they could be heard from a mile away, arguing up a storm. Let me say this. Angela and this Bob had me in a chokehold back in 2007. It's right up there with Khadijah and an old nasty Adriana Bob. If you know, you know. But we go back to Sheila, who's still driving, and this is 2007, so she's making it across the US with a paper map. Wasn't no Google Maps just yet, so baby, she had to break out in prayer to make it through.
I don't know what this is all about, but I'm going up this mountain to save my marriage.
The girls chat with Angela because, you know, obviously, with all the yelling going on, something is clearly wrong. Basically, Marcus's baby mama is the problem. She's been overstepping lately. Her kids have been acting up because they've been around Marcus's other kids picking up bad habits. It's a mess. We also learned that Marcus has a habit of saying, "Know what I'm saying?" every time he's lying.
That's a barbershop, man.
Yeah, it's good. Cutting so much hair, I'm making like $5,000 a week, know what I'm saying?
Terry tells Marcus that since Diane has been so busy, they haven't had sex in months, and dude is sexually frustrated. But Marcus has even bigger issues than Terry not getting some. Big issues.
I need you to give me a shot. I've been burning for 3 days.
Burning out. Oh, you've been burning.
Child, Marcus has been sleeping with his baby mama and assumes he's gotten it from her, and his careless ass slept with his wife after the fact, exposing her to whatever he got going on. Terry suggests that he tell Angela, and you already know Marcus is not trying to do that, but like, you're gonna have to do it eventually, my boy. Shortly after, Mike shows up with Trina and Sheila's nowhere to be found. Sheila's still praying her way through the USA. And then the ladies come out to greet them, and they had questions. Mike asks everyone if it's cool if Trina stays in the extra room, and everyone was okay with it. But Angela, listen, Angela was not with the mess.
Any friend of Sheila's a friend of ours, right?
Yeah, sure.
No.
Angela peeped game from the very beginning, but she requests that Trina puts in on the trip, which is fair. And when it comes out that Mike left Sheila to drive while they flew without her, and then he goes on to talk about Sheila's weight as if she deserved the inconvenience based on that.
Look, I wasn't paying for another seat for her big ass. Y'all know she fat as hell.
Did he just say that she's driving?
I'm still on the fat as hell part.
And from this point on, Angela gets in Mike and Trina's ass every chance she gets. So get ready. But Diane and Patricia still couldn't believe their ears, and Mike offers another fat joke.
Sheila is a big girl. Literally.
So everyone is disgusted at this point, especially the ladies, and they head into the house. And poor Marcus tried to be a gentleman, but
She can carry it.
the ladies try to call Sheila, but her phone went straight to voicemail. They decide to not pass too much judgment until they see Sheila and find out what's going on. But you already know Angela wasn't with it.
Well, y'all, before we get a little too crazy with this, let's find out what's going on and make sure we don't pass too much judgment on her. Agreed?
Agreed.
No. Good thing I brought my Vaseline and sneakers.
Later on, the couples plus Mike and Trina gather outside around the fire. They learn that Patricia has won an award and gives the group a heads up about the award dinner. The celebratory moment ends quickly when Angela and Marcus have another back and forth. Angela and Marcus' fights usually centered around him not having a job and him working for her. But the gag was Marcus bought the salon that both he and Angela worked in, so he can't be too much of a bum, but boy does she try to make him feel that way every chance she gets.
Well, maybe one day I'll drink to you getting a damn job. Marcus paid the mortgage this month. We all should drink to that.
Patricia interjects with well-meaning advice on not taking low shots when arguing, but as always, it falls on deaf ears. It was a waste of time, honestly. And as they were talking, Mike and Trina were all giddy and huddled up in the corner, which gets Angela's attention. Patricia insists that Trina come in and help them make dinner, and Trina was not with the domestic duties and opts to stay outside with the guys. Child, she knew better.
I'm gonna stay and hang with the boys.
Oh no, you gonna come and bring your ass in the kitchen. Think we gonna leave her with our man and do all the work in the kitchen?
As the ladies go in the house, the men gather and talk about Mike's fuckery. They get on him for leaving Sheila and bringing Trina, knowing it's going to cause a commotion amongst the ladies and hinder their love plans for the weekend.
Let me tell you something. I'm serious, man. I'm so serious right now. If I don't get none, I'm whooping your ass.
Marcus is almost happy for Mike's pursuit of Trina, while Gavin and Terry are more realistic and try to hold him accountable. And then they start talking about cheating and staying faithful. And again, Gavin and Terry are more committed to their partners, while Marcus and Mike obviously are not. Meanwhile, Sheila has finally made it into town, but unfortunately for her, the snowstorm has beat her there, and Sheriff Jackson, aka Troy, lets her know that she won't be making it up to the cabin that night and offers her a place to rest at the precinct. As they talk, Troy asks her why she's traveling alone, and you know this is a sore spot for Sheila, so she wiggles her way out of answering this question by asking him if he's married, and he wasn't. Troy offers her something to eat, and Sheila makes a self-deprecating joke. She does this often.
You hungry?
Don't I look hungry?
What's that supposed to mean?
Come on, don't act like you don't see I'm a big girl, okay?
Well, big girls gotta eat too, right?
Back at the cabin, Marcus makes it to his and Angela's room, and Angela was waiting to get something started. If you haven't seen this movie, I don't want to spoil it, but something comes up in a little bit that makes this scene so weird to me. At this point, we get why he's avoiding her though, and he offers her a tired excuse.
It's been a long drive and a long day, you know what I'm saying?
I know you lying.
Safe to say, Angela and her Bob were pissed. And then we go to Terry and Diane. Diane is seething and uses the Mike and Sheila situation as an excuse to not have sex with Terry. Was she worried about her friend? Yes, but I honestly think she didn't want to have sex with his ass anyway. We go to Gavin and Patricia. Gavin is trying to talk to Patricia about having another kid, and Patricia doesn't want to hear it. It's probably too soon for her, still an open wound, and will probably always be. Later on, while Angela's reading, she hears movement outside and catches Mike sneaking into Trina's room. Now, she already knew something wasn't right, but now it's been confirmed. And the next morning, she tells the girls and insists on telling Sheila when she gets there. But Patricia and Diane didn't want her to. They bring up how she's been depressed lately, and this will make her feel even worse. Child, what would make it worse is her friends knowing her husband is cheating with someone she considers a friend, and them not telling her, and the whole friend group playing in her face. But Patricia and Diane convince Angela not to say anything, for now. Me personally, I'm telling, girl code for life. Anyway, everyone comes down for breakfast, and Angela, seeing what she saw last night, is not about to fake the funk with Mike and Trina.
Wow, this smells so good, Angela. You belong in the kitchen.
And you belong on a corner. Need a pimp?
Patricia asks Mike if he's called Sheila, and he quickly tells her no. Basically, he could care less, and Trina interjects and gets shut down by Angela. They have a slight little tussle, but that's interrupted by the arrival of Sheila and Troy. The girls were happy to see her, and Sheila, being the good friend she is, tries to push Troy onto Trina, but for obvious reasons, Trina didn't seem too excited about him. As things calm down and everybody sits down to eat, Diane's assistant, Monica, calls and lets her know that Terry told her not to call. Diane tries to confront Terry about it, but he brushes it off and changes the conversation. Later on in the day, all the ladies, including Trina, go off to do a little shopping. Trina insists that Sheila go into a particular shop to find some lingerie, and Angela is still giving Trina a hard time. As she should. Patricia and Diane have a separate conversation where they discuss Terry telling Diane's secretary not to call her, and how different he's been since she made partner. Patricia admits that Diane has been busy and hard to get in contact with, but Diane tells her that she's worked so hard to get to where she's at, and she's not slowing down or pushing out another baby for nobody. And anything baby related triggers Patricia, but she tries her best not to let her friends know or see it. The ladies gather around Sheila as she states that if she loses weight, then the issues that she and Mike are having will magically disappear. Angela hears this and, knowing what she knows, tries to tell her what's going on, but is stopped by Patricia and Diane. And then Trina interrupts their conversation, trying to show Sheila some lingerie, and Angela sees red.
Why do you have to be so mean to her? Sheila, I don't like her.
You don't even know her.
No, you don't know her.
After the commotion they caused at this store, this lady decided to try it.
We don't keep cash in the store.
Wait a minute, did she just say that because
Angie!
Later on that night, Sheila takes Trina's advice and wears this lingerie for Mike, and his response was,
Trina said you might like it.
Trina lied.
He always gotta play an asshole. To his credit, he does it very well. But Sheila confesses that she loves him and is trying her best to make it work and asks how she can. And this asshole tells her to start by losing 50 pounds. Instant divorce and hot grits. Meanwhile, Diane finally confronts Terry about telling her assistant not to call her. Terry says that she continuously acts like she doesn't know what the true problem is, and the true issue is that by her being so busy, she can't give him another child, which he so desperately wants by any means. He also tells her that he knows she intentionally fights with him so that they don't have to have sex, and she quietly goes to bed without addressing it. The next day, Terry gives Marcus the good news that he's been cleared and the shot has done its job. He urges him not to sleep with Angela though and to give it a rest for a bit. Terry also urges Marcus to tell Angela, and again, Marcus is hesitant about that. And then we get into the 80-20 rule. Gavin's theory was that you are only going to get 80% of what you need in your marriage. Now, 20% may look good when you're not getting it, but you should never leave your 80 for a 20. Now, this was meant to be advice for Mike, but you know, it went way over his head. And finally, the dinner scene. We love a good dinner scene. With good food, alcohol, and fuckery combined, you already know it's about to get interesting. So, this dinner starts off light, but then subtle shots start getting thrown. It starts with Terry when he says Diane won't be available to participate in a group activity the next day because she's oh so busy. And then when Mike asks how much Troy makes and Troy states it's not about the money, Diane chimes in with how people do their jobs for enjoyment. And then Angela chimes in.
Mike do it for the enjoyment.
Oh, you must need another drink, don't you?
And you need some condoms, don't you?
Believe me, you don't want to go down that road with me.
And then Mike sees Troy and Trina having a private little convo, and he interrupts them, but Angela and Sheila suggest that he let the only single people at the table do what they do. And Mike slips up and says this.
Trina ain't going nowhere with him.
And Diane and Patricia's ass try to change the conversation, trying their best to dodge what's underneath all this hostility at the table. I'm so sick of them at this point. And I guess Mike was over it too, because he decides to let it all out at the table, and that's all Angela been wanting to do, so she finally lets Sheila know what's up.
The reason she can't go with this man or any other man is because she's sleeping with yours, Sheila.
What?
And then Mike had nothing to lose at this point, and he starts spilling everybody's tea, starting with Terry and Diane. Child, Terry got a DNA test done on his daughter because he doubted that she was his since he and Diane hardly had sex. And Diane had her tubes tied behind Terry's back because she didn't want to have any more kids. Then we move on to Gavin and Patricia. Gavin blamed Patricia for their son's death after learning she didn't strap him into his car seat prior to the car accident. And to save the best for last, Marcus and Angela. Mike suggests that Marcus tell his wife what he's been hiding from her.
Marcus, please, please tell this woman the truth. Tell this woman how Terry had to give you a shot because you had VD.
Child, Angela asks him if he got it from his baby mama, and Marcus admits that he did, but boy, did she have a surprise for him.
No, you didn't get it from her. You got it from Walter.
What are you talking about? I ain't gay.
No, I slept with him. I got a shot. I was just waiting for you to say something. Boom.
Listen, if there was a way for me to watch certain scenes for the first time all over again, this would definitely be one of them. When I saw this back in 2007, I laughed for 5 minutes straight. This scene was executed perfectly, and it made the movie for me. It really did. But of course, Marcus was over it at this point and tried to take Angela out of here. After all this couple's retreat is pretty much over, and Mike asks Trina to pack their things, and he decides to pour salt on Sheila's open wounds.
I'll be more than fair, but I want a divorce. You can have the rental property. Pac will put bars on it for you, so don't thank me none. It's a rough neighborhood.
But he didn't get far.
Whatever.
The next day, Sheila is in her feelings, and it's hitting her that her marriage and pretty much life as she's known it has changed. This lady lost her husband, her home, her best friend, her lifestyle, all in one night. That would drive anyone crazy. But Troy came to the hotel to check on her. We learned that Mike has drained her bank account and left $87 to her name. Troy insists that they get some fresh air. Back at the cabin, everyone says their goodbyes. Clearly, everybody is still in their feelings. Terry and Diane didn't even make it out the driveway before Terry decided to confront Diane about tying her tubes without telling him, and Diane got under his skin about having a DNA test done on their daughter.
Why did you test our daughter?
Dad, when you got pregnant, we had sex once.
What were the results?
What do you mean? She's mine.
Really? Huh.
Troy takes Sheila to the top of this mountain and encourages Sheila to let it all out. Scream, yell, cry, whatever she has to do, but she needs to get it out.
I can't even describe to you the pain I feel. It's like I've been hit by a car. I have no life without him.
Troy suggests that it's a great time for a new start if Sheila wants to stay. Things are still off between Patricia and Gavin. Clearly, Patricia likes to avoid things while Gavin prefers to face things head on. Patricia brings up how he should have told her how he felt instead of telling someone else, but as stated before, she's not receptive to anything that she doesn't want to hear, so he probably had no choice. But besides all that, why was she chopping this asparagus like this though? Just chop the fibrous part, girl. But Patricia tries to avoid the topic of their son, avoids looking at his picture, and tries to change the convo again to which meat they were going to eat for dinner, and Gavin wasn't going for it. Not today. And finally, Patricia lets it out that she blames herself for what happened with her son and feels that she messed up. Gavin comforts her and lets her know that he's going to always stand by her. And things were still dicey between Angela, Marcus, and his baby mama. Child, the baby mama showed up at Angela's salon ready to start some mess. And you already know it takes nothing for Angela to be knucking and bucking and ready to fight. Angela called up Patricia, Diane, and Sheila to try to calm down a little. And she was being a little too rough with this girl's head. Poor little Tink Tink. But they learned that Sheila now works at a general store, and while they offer to help her out, Sheila insists on doing things on her own. Sheila also tells Diane to wish Terry happy birthday for her, and Diane's busy ass completely forgot about her own husband's birthday and rushes home. Troy enters the store shortly after. Turns out Sheila motivated him to reopen the general store that used to belong to his dad. As she helps him restock some items, she gets a good glance at Troy's body and damn near loses it. She makes another self-deprecating joke about her weight and not being able to work out due to her size, and Troy invites her to the movies to take her mind off things and to also thank her for the work she puts in at the store. We go back to Angela and Marcus, and today, Marcus has had enough. He reminds Angela just how much he's actually done for her while they've been together.
It was my money that started the damn business. Now you think I'm with you for the money? I'm with you because I love her. You too damn stupid to see it.
And when his baby mama comes out, he corrects her as well.
This is my wife, and you are going to respect her. So don't call our house or come by my job unless it's got something to do with the kids.
This is cute and all, but this should have been done a long time ago. Things shouldn't even have gotten to this point. But after setting them straight, he walks off. Later on that night, when Diane finally makes it home, she walks in to see Terry conversating with this lady. And Terry wasted no time rubbing it in.
You remember what you want to remember.
And Terry slick put this lady in their issues. I'll get to that later. But Diane tells her to never come back to their home. And as soon as she leaves, Terry and Diane start arguing all through the house. Apparently Pam, that was her name by the way, she's been filling in for Diane, going to their daughter's recitals, picking her up from school when Diane was late, being a help to them without Diane's knowledge. Throughout this argument, Medea comes out of Tyler Perry, and he was fighting like hell to contain her.
What the hell are you talking about all of a sudden?
Terry goes on to complain about Diane being selfish and how she doesn't spend time with him, their daughter, nor have sex with him on a regular basis. Not gonna lie, I like Diane's response though.
You know what? I am all for solutions, but maybe we could come up with something that doesn't involve me stepping back into the 50s.
And then Terry goes on to complain about how she got her tubes tied without him knowing. And she reminds him that it's her body and she's the one that has to carry the child and sacrifice her life, body, and career for the child he so badly wants. And Medea resurfaces again.
Diane, when you get married, you give up the eyes for us, okay? You don't make those kind of decisions without talking to me.
This whole conversation has been what he wants though. What he's not getting, what he needs, what she needs isn't as important to him. We go back to Sheila and Troy. They've been working out together. She's been staying at the cabin. He's really been helping her out. But Sheila is concerned that she will start falling for him, thinking that this is love when he's really just being nice. Troy tells Sheila how he admires her strength, how despite Mike trying to break her, she's still out here living and she kept going. He goes on to tell her how amazing, intelligent, and sexy she is. And of course, Sheila is not used to these type of compliments, so she inserts her usual self-deprecating comments about her weight. But Troy shuts that down immediately by telling her if she's not happy with her weight, then she should change it and stop downing herself. Sheila apologizes and admits it's become a bad habit.
I'm just so used to Mike saying things. I try to beat him to it.
Hey, Mike.
And then they kiss for the first time.
Oh, Jesus. Lord, have mercy, God. I think I need to pray. Can we pray?
Hi.
They're so cute. We go to Diane and Angela meeting up with Patricia to lay out their marriage issues on her. Angela tells her about the baby mama issue and how Marcus got her together, and Diane tells her about her and Terry's issue. Patricia insists that they be vulnerable with their husbands and suggests that they create a list of all the good their husbands have done and all the bad, and recommends if the bad outweighs the good, then they can let go of the marriage. Before she leaves, she reminds them of her award dinner and looks forward to seeing them there with their husbands. But Angela says this.
Well, I might be there with my new boyfriend if this list don't look right. I need a legal pad to write this list, honey.
We go to the guys meeting and catching up, and by the time Gavin walked up, Marcus, Terry, and Mike were drunk as skunks.
Why is it that when a woman say she want a good man, she do everything she can to drive him crazy?
I'm a divorce Diane. I'm gonna call up and tell her, you know what? We get a divorce.
To get a peek at Mike's regret about leaving Sheila, he had the nerve to ask about her, and the guys give him hell about it. As they should.
You know what that sound like to me? 80-20. Hey, Mike, you got what you wanted, dude.
Sometime later, probably after she saw all the good in that list, Angela decides to make dinner for Marcus, which scares the shit out of him. He immediately went to the bathroom and called Gavin.
I've been sleeping with one eye open and she cooked.
She ain't cooking grits. You ain't got nothing to worry about.
Man.
He called the right friend, honestly. Ain't no telling what Mike would have told him to do. But Gavin insists that he join his wife. We go to Diane, who's finishing the list and realizing, like Angela did, that the good far outweighed the bad. Baby, Marcus was nervous as hell to eat this food.
You haven't touched your food.
It's good. I'm just not that hungry, you know what I'm saying?
I still can't get over this Bob. It's perfection. But anyway, this dinner serves as a peace offering from Angela, her way of being vulnerable and calling a truce. With this being understood, Marcus sets new ground rules for them.
You're gonna stop talking to me like you're crazy.
Done.
We're gonna stay committed to each other and know that I am doing my best.
And one more thing.
You're gonna have to stop drinking.
Okay. Wait.
And Angela agrees after taking her last sips. We go to Pam and Terry chilling in his new place. I forgot to mention that after their fight, Terry left Diane and got his own place. But Diane barges in, admits that she was wrong for not telling him that she got her tubes tied, and tells him that she's willing to do whatever it takes for him to come home. She also admits that after creating the list, that she realizes how much she loves him. Terry asks her about what she said in Colorado when she questioned him about the results of the DNA test, and Diane told him that she responded the way she did to get back at him. And then Terry decides to be petty and tell Diane that Pam is pregnant and insinuates that it's his. That they're his because she was pregnant with twins to get a reaction out of Diane. And this is where he would have had me fucked up, because I'm here trying to be vulnerable with you in front of this woman I don't know, mind you, and you want to play with my emotions. Instant divorce. Hot grits. But surprisingly, Diane plays it cool and is accepting. Probably because she's not the one carrying them. Terry eventually admits that Pam is not pregnant with his babies, and he said that to get back at her. And the way Pam just stood there while he used her to get back at his wife, like, what if this would have went left? And he's done this twice now. Instant resignation. But Diane and Terry make up and reconcile, and all things are good there. But the night of Patricia's award dinner has finally arrived, and all the couples are together, even Mike and Trina, much to Angela's disgust.
I know your bald-headed ass did not bring her up in here.
Later on, when Trina goes to the bathroom, she gets introduced to the glowed-up version of Sheila. And baby, she couldn't take it. And the nerve of her to say her name like they were long-lost friends with no bad blood. The nerve. And Sheila worked through her shock effortlessly.
I wonder what I would do when I saw you again. If I would cuss you out or stomp you in the street, whoop that ass. All I want to do is pray for you.
And that hit Miss Trina. She wasn't expecting that, but Sheila did give her a little threat.
But don't tempt me. Stay away from the wine bottles, okay?
As this was happening, Mike sees Troy and learns that Sheila is now Troy's wife. And Mike couldn't take his 80, finding her 80, and leaving him to deal with his 20. Checkmate. But the girls catch up with each other. They compliment her on her glow and learn that she's now married to Troy. And of course, they were really happy for her. Now the guys were tripping all over this news. And Mike tried to make light of it, but Terry and Gavin knew what was up.
I haven't seen her in a while, so it was kind of, ooh.
What the hell are you saying, man?
They knew he was full of shit. Troy comes back to chat with the guys, and Mike couldn't wait to throw a little hate his way. But Troy was prepared.
She had that gastric bypass?
Actually, we just worked out together. You know what that means, right?
Oh, he couldn't take it, and he quickly walked away. We go back to Sheila talking to the girls, and she lets them know how hard it was for her after Mike left her, but how grateful she is that it happened and how all of it ended up being for her good. And now she's with Troy, and it's good and it's easy. Everything it wasn't with Mike. Jill killed this monologue. She's an amazing actress, honestly. But we go on to see Patricia accept her award. While she's on stage, Mike couldn't help himself but try to talk to Sheila again. He attempts to apologize and tries to tell her about the 80-20 rule, but instead, she schools him.
I know all about the 80-20 rule. So turn around and go back to Trina. You're 20.
At this point, he knew he fucked up, and it was over. For good. We close out the film by seeing Patricia finish accepting her award, and that's pretty much the end of the movie. And here are my final thoughts. Honestly, this is one of Tyler Perry's best films, other than this movie's sequel. The effort was there, styling was there, the script was there. You know, sometimes, at least for me, Tyler can be a bit lazy with his content, but after all these years, this movie still hits. I'm gonna go couple by couple, obviously saving Terry and Diane for last because I have more to say there. But up first is Gavin and Patricia. Gavin and Patricia were a bit unbalanced. How you would think Patricia would have been open to talk, receptive, Gavin was, and vice versa. Gavin wanted to talk about their issues while Patricia wanted to act like everything was fine. They had a huge loss and they each dealt with it differently. Now, losing a child has to be one of the most traumatic things you can go through. I won't make light of it. I feel that they should have sought therapy together and separately to bring them together, help them with coping skills, and also to heal their individual wounds, if that makes sense. Because they each took the loss differently, so of course they will heal differently, I'm assuming. And Patricia only let down her guard and surrendered to Gavin at the end, but you could tell it wasn't resolved. I believe Patricia wanted to keep up with the facade, and Gavin was no longer going to allow her to do that. Next up, Angela and Marcus. One word describes this relationship. Maybe two. Childish and toxic as hell. Marcus was sleeping with his baby mama and not setting boundaries, making it easy for his baby mama to continuously disrespect Angela to her face and in front of the kids. And Angela was so harsh, and I hate to use this term when it comes to us, because if you know, you know. But she was aggressive with that man. But I also think she was a very forward person, straight to the point, no chaser. But back to Marcus. This man caught an STD from his baby mama and basically gave it to his wife, so he thought, and wasn't going to tell her. And Angela wasn't any better because she knew he had it, how he had gotten it, and wasn't even going to tell him. See, childish, toxic, and dangerous. And then the issue of Angela constantly reminding him how he works for her and how he's so broke and doesn't or can't contribute to the household bills when she already knew why he couldn't and hasn't. At the same time, from her point of view, I can see her thinking, I'm up here taking care of the whole family, and this dude got the nerve to be cheating with his baby mama and continuously letting her disrespect me. But the fact still remains that Angela was able to purchase the hair salon and start her hair care line due to him purchasing and funding her dream. So to act like he's never done anything, that he's always been a bum, is wild to me. He was down at that moment, and she kept trying to drag him even further every chance she got. But Marcus waited too long to set boundaries with his baby mama. Too much happened before he finally put his foot down. I'm happy they were able to work things out, but I don't know about them. On to Sheila and Mike. Listen, Mike needed his ass whooped. Low down isn't the right word for him. It's just not dark enough for how he treated Sheila. This man was so careless with her. He constantly criticized her, her weight, and pretty much tried to break her down. And he was so critical of her that she started to break her own self down to beat him to the punch. Sheila was so dedicated to Mike and their marriage when he clearly wasn't. She tried to make it work, bend for him, change for him. He could have cared less. And all I kept thinking while watching this movie is, thank God they didn't have a child. It would have been way worse. Mike overlooked the great wife he had because of Sheila's weight, when he was probably the cause of it, stressing her the hell out. And then he had the nerve to have an affair with her friend, and that same friend kept playing in her face like she was so concerned about her and her feelings. The way I would have hopped off that plane with her and gave him a mean side eye. But even though Mike discarded Sheila because he no longer saw her worth, Sheila was able to pull herself together, heal, and come out better on the other side. Her story is a reminder that you are never asking for too much. Sometimes you're just asking the wrong person. And love is never supposed to be that damn complicated. In the end, Mike learned much too late that Sheila was the prize, and what he wanted, his 20, was not in his best interest long term. Last, but certainly not least, Terry and Diane. Child, Terry got on my nerves. And why did he want her to have another child so bad? If she was already too busy for the first one, did he really want another baby, or did he want to just slow her down? Now, if she would have had a second baby and still been busy afterwards, he still would have been mad. I understand Terry wanted his wife to be more present for him and their daughter, and he also wanted them to be intimate more, but it seemed like he never considered her needs and her wants. It was like he wanted her to bend for his wants and sacrifice her own. And he was so persistent about her having another baby, and she felt so much pressure that she had to sneak and get her tubes tied. If a woman does not want kids, that's just what it is. And it's very true when she said that he didn't have to survive childbirth because childbirth is a dangerous and nearly fatal experience. Take a leave from work, sacrifice his body. She did if she had another baby. Having a child would affect her and her career the most, not him. They didn't know how to compromise, and their communication sucked because they were both so stubborn. Out of all the couples, I would have preferred for them to break up immediately. They didn't sit well with me. And to touch on the debate if Angela was Sheila's only true friend, I think Patricia and Diane were her friends, but Angela was the only one who had her best long-term interests at heart. Patricia and Diane were more worried about the short term. Their excuses were, she's been depressed, we don't want to bring the mood down, she's not ready. Ain't nobody ever ready to hear that their spouse is cheating on them, with their friend no less, but I'm pretty sure she would want to know. She needs to know. I respected the fact that Angela never tried to make Trina or Mike feel comfortable like the others. She stayed on their necks the entire time and constantly protected Sheila from Mike's cruel words. Angela was crazy, but she was a great friend and always had Sheila's back. And honestly, child, I'm about to go to the beauty supply and get 2 packs of Remy Velvet and do this side part bob for old time's sake. But anyway, thanks for watching per usual. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. As for the next video, all I'm gonna say is 2010. And again, we might as well finish what we started. And trust me, it gets even messier. See you next time, you guys. Bye.